Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This is an address to the EDL. You say that you formed together to rid extremists and Islamification of the streets of England. You say that you're only against the minority of the Muslim, but in fact you're against the whole Muslim Ummah, the whole Muslim nation. You're against the whole Muslim nation at the simple terms that you attack the veil, the niqab issue of the Muslim woman. You attack the issue of the madrasas, the Islamic schools, the Islamic mosques. You attack the whole Ummah. So for your information, the Sharia is Islam and Islam is Sharia. They're all under one. So when you're coming down on the 5th of February, don't expect to be confronted by a minority of the Muslims. But in matter of fact, you're going to be confronted by the whole Muslim Ummah nation of Luton. You want Muslims to integrate and take the values of your English way of life. What value are these? Are these going out, getting drunk, waking up with your own urine and vomit, spreading your sexual diseases around, not knowing which kid is yours? Of course we ain't going to integrate with reasons like this into a system like this. You have nothing good to offer us. You have no way of life, nothing to live for, nothing to die for. In fact, the Muslims love Britain more than the English love Britain itself, because we want to establish the Sharia here in Luton, and we want, obviously it's a better way for you to live under the Sharia. You may be saying to yourself, if we don't like the way that England's run, then why don't we remove ourselves from it? Firstly, let me tell you two things. All of the Muslims would leave Britain if your government would remove their troops from Afghanistan and Iraq, take all their funding and their corruption away from the Muslims. So I'm telling you, not asking you, remove your troops, because they are dying for no reason. In one hand, you're saying to support your troops, and in the other hand, you're saying remove your troops, bring our troops home. Secondly, I'd like to add that I'm born in this country, raised in this country. All my parents, ancestors are from this country. Now, as an obligation as a Muslim, I'll call for Islam, I'll call for the Sharia. So there's nowhere that I'm going to be extradited to, kicked out of and go to. This is my country, this is where I'll establish the Sharia from. There are many other revert Muslims like myself who have come from this country, and they're willing to do the same thing. We have embraced Islam as it has the solutions to all of man's problems of today. It's a better way of life compared to your baseless way of life. The simple fact that people embraced Islam, and it's the fastest growing religion in the world today, the point that in fact 100,000 people have embraced Islam in England already. Now maybe one day most of you from the EDL will embrace Islam, but we know some of you may be confused, don't know why you hate Islam, or maybe just following the crowd. So firstly, I'd encourage you to go and seek knowledge of the true Islam yourself, the same way I did, because a few years back I was in the same predicament as yourselves. I used to be against anything against England. I used to be a patriot of this country, but obviously I found the true Islam and I accepted Islam. So I ask that you keep an open heart, and one day inshallah you embrace the fastest growing religion in the world.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
If you can just maybe inshallah start off by just telling us a bit about yourself, inshallah, just for the sake of the camera.
My name is Ibrahim Anderson, I'm from Luton, I'm a revert to Islam.
Okay, alhamdulillah. I mean, on the 5th of February we see that the EDL will be coming down to hold one of their demonstrations, and they claim that this is one of the biggest demonstrations that they'll be doing. And they claim that they're demonstrating against radical Islam or elements of the Sharia and I was just wondering to see if you had what are your views or your comments on the EDL and the demonstration which is going to take place.
Yeah, I don't think nothing of the EDL coming down on the 5th of February. To me, they're just a bunch of cowards, a bunch of thugs, drunkards, alcoholics. Now, they say they're against the small minority of the Muslims, the extreme Muslims. Now, to me, if you're against a minority, then you won't be going around attacking the mosques, attacking the halal shops, attacking families who are eating inside these halal shops. If you're men, you come out and fight with the men. You won't come and attack the women. Now, they have a chant when they come down, no surrender to the Taliban and stuff like this. Now, the best of their best, they're already out in Afghanistan and Iraq, dying from the Taliban. Now, they had to retreat from the Taliban. So, I urge them, all the EDL, rethink that when you come down to Luton on the 5th of February, you're not just going to be facing a small minority of so-called extreme Muslims, but in fact you're going to be facing the majority of the Muslim Ummah from Luton and maybe from the surrounding areas of Luton.
I mean, the EDL, they always they talk about their values and, you know, what they're proud of, and they boast about their way of life in comparison to the Sharia or the Islamic values that we hold as Muslims. What are your thoughts, or do you have any comment on that issue?
Yeah, okay. Obviously they say they have these values and ways of life, and, you know, patriot to their country and stuff like this. But obviously me, you know, I just think that Muslims love Britain more than the so-called EDL love Britain today. Now, the Muslims want to make Britain a better place by establishing the Sharia. Now, if everyone's to abide by and live under the Sharia, then obviously England's going to be a much better place. The thugs from the EDL, then the way they follow, it's like they're just a mindless, pointless regime what they follow. It's just waking up drunk, coming out, brawling, thuggish. This is what's kind of see at football matches, you know. So me, personally, I think, you know, it's time for the Sharia to be established here in Luton, because this is where it's going to be happening. So inshallah the Sharia will be established and most of these EDL people can understand and, you know, embrace Islam.
Okay. You obviously used to be someone who was a non-Muslim, and you embraced Islam. From what I understand, you used to be someone who was a racist, a BMP type person, more like the EDL, should I say. How is it that you changed, and can you just give us a bit of background a bit about yourself and how you changed, and what message you can give to the EDL itself?
Sure. Well, firstly, yeah, obviously I used to be a bit racist. I used to be against anything against England. I used to be patriot, loving the country. But obviously over time you see a lot of things happening. You see the government taking money from you, funding stuff what, you know, you don't even want to be happening. All these illegal wars you can see happening around. So obviously, you know, I heard about a religion, Islam, you know. So I done what I should have done, and I went to seek, you know, knowledge of Islam. I started finding out about Islam, started finding out about the ruling system of Islam, and then I see a picture that Islam is not just a religion, it's a complete way of life, how to adapt your life through every day. Now, I thought, well, I can stay in a pointless, meaningless like world, reality, or I can change myself and be better. So this is the path I chose. Now obviously I'm surrounded in an Asian community, you know, obviously I've left behind all my racial discrepancies and stuff like this. I just left them in the past. The advice I can give to EDL is to have an open heart, you know, try and seek the truth, stop following blindly, stop going with the crowd, stop being peer pressure, following the peer pressure, and accept Islam and submit to the Sharia, because the Sharia is going to be dominant here in the UK with or without you.